Have you ever wondered what lies behind the faces we see every day? In a world filled with words and appearances, how often do we stop to ask, what's real? People carry themselves like actors on a grand stage, donning masks of confidence, kindness, or authority. Yet, beneath those masks often lie unspoken fears, hidden motives, or even silent suffering. I once found myself in a conversation where everything seemed perfectly polite, smiles, nods, laughter, but something felt off. It wasn't in their words, it was in the pauses between sentences, the subtle shift in their posture, the restless tap of a foot. At that moment I realized, the truth of a person is rarely in what they say, but in what they can't hide. The Stoics believed in understanding the nature of things, including people. Marcus Aurelius observed that the soul becomes dyed with the color of its thoughts. By reading beyond appearances, we can glimpse the truth of someone's inner state. It's not about manipulation or judgment. It's about awareness, a skill that sharpens our ability to live harmoniously with others and guard our own peace. Today, we'll explore how to read people, not their words, but their intentions, their feelings, the reality they carry beneath the surface. You'll learn to see the signals they don't even know they're sending, and discover how this Stoic practice can transform how you navigate relationships, workplaces, and life itself. So if you're ready to move past illusions and see the world for what it truly is, let's dive in. The truth is waiting. It's just up to you to notice it. 1. The tell me more technique. Imagine holding a mirror, not to reflect your own image, but to gently reflect the inner world of another. That's the essence of the tell me more technique. A simple yet profoundly powerful way to understand people without them ever realizing it. You don't need clever arguments, dramatic gestures, or a persuasive tone. All you need are 3 humble words. Tell me more. Years ago, during a heated discussion about something as trivial as whether pineapple belongs on pizza, I was ready to dive into a full-blown debate. My instinct was to counter every point, to win the argument. But instead, I paused, smiled, and said, "Tell me more." What started as a light-hearted squabble over food transformed into something far deeper. My friend began to share childhood memories, family dinners, the foods that reminded them of home, and even a story about why pineapple brought back bittersweet feelings. It was no longer about pizza. It was about connection, vulnerability, and understanding. Why does this work so well? Because when you say, "Tell me more," you invite the other person to speak without fear of judgment. You're not challenging their opinion. You're creating a space where they can express themselves fully. And in that safe space, walls come down. People reveal their motivations, insecurities, fears, and hopes, often without even realizing it. This approach isn't just about extracting information. It's a practice grounded in the Stoic virtue of empathy. Marcus Aurelius reminds us to enter into every man's mind, to see the world through their eyes. By listening with patience and without attachment, you step outside your own ego. You stop trying to impose your thoughts or plan your next response, and instead focus entirely on the other person. The beauty of this technique is its universality. In a business negotiation, instead of aggressively pitching your terms, try saying, "Tell me more." When I did this during a tense deal, the other party, thinking they were simply explaining their position, ended up revealing their entire strategy. They shared why the deal was critical for them, what constraints they were under, and even their fallback plan. Without pressure or confrontation, I gained clarity that shifted the balance of the negotiation entirely in my favor. But this isn't just about winning, it's about understanding people as they are, not as you assume them to be. The Stoics teach us to observe without judgment, to see things clearly, and to let go of the desire to control. When you approach a conversation with genuine curiosity rather than the need to prove a point, you create a bond that transcends words. Tell Me More is more than a conversational tool. It's a gift. In a world where everyone is desperate to be heard, you offer something rare, your full attention. And when people feel heard, they feel seen. Trust is built. Barriers dissolve. So the next time you find yourself in a conversation, be it an argument, a negotiation, or even a casual chat, pause before responding. Instead of rushing to speak, let those 3 words open the door to deeper understanding. Tell me more. You'll find that this simple phrase not only reveals the truth in others, but also helps you practice patience, empathy, and the art of letting go, hallmarks of a Stoic life well lived. 2. Watch how they treat people in a lesser position. If you want to uncover someone's true character, don't focus solely on how they treat you. Instead, pay close attention to how they treat those they believe hold no power over them. Whether it's a waiter, a cashier, or a colleague in a junior role, these interactions reveal far more than polished words or a friendly smile ever could. I learned this lesson through a harsh but eye-opening experience. I once worked with someone who seemed on the surface like the epitome of kindness, charming, respectful, always saying the right things in meetings. But one afternoon, we went to lunch, and I saw another side of them. The moment the waiter approached, their demeanor shifted. They snapped their orders, ignored the waiter's politeness, and dismissed them as though they were invisible. It was jarring. The warmth and kindness I'd admired were nowhere to be found when there was no social advantage in play. That experience was a turning point for me. I realized that how someone treats those they perceive as lesser isn't just an exception to their behavior, it's a reflection of their true nature. A person who's only kind when there's something to gain isn't truly kind. They're calculating. Stoicism encourages us to see human behavior as it is, not as we wish it to be. As Marcus Aurelius reminds us, the soul of a man is colored by his thoughts. Observe how someone acts when the stakes are low, and you'll see the real palette of their character. Think about it. When there's no pressure to impress, and someone believes they can act without consequence, their mask slips. A person who belittles others in lesser positions is revealing a deeper arrogance, a need to elevate themselves by stepping on those they deem unimportant. On the other hand, those who treat everyone, regardless of rank or status, with respect and dignity, are often secure in themselves. They don't need to inflate their ego by diminishing others. I've made this principle a quiet test in my own life, whether it's a friend, a colleague, or even someone I'm considering dating. I watch how they interact with those society tends to overlook. Do they say thank you to the barista? Do they show patience and understanding to a delivery driver or cleaner? These small acts reveal a profound truth. Character isn't built in grand gestures, it's shaped in the smallest interactions. More importantly, how we treat others is a mirror reflecting our own inner state. A person at peace with themselves naturally radiates respect and kindness. Stoicism challenges us to cultivate this within ourselves, to treat others not as a means to an end, but as fellow travelers on the path of life. So, observe carefully. The way someone treats those with nothing to offer is one of the clearest windows into who they really are. Through this lens, you can see beyond the facade and into the depths of their true self. 3. Their past is the key to their present. If you want to truly understand someone, take a closer look at their past. While many say, the past is in the past, the truth is, it's never really gone. It shapes their thoughts, decisions, and behavior in ways they may not even realize. Every victory, trauma, betrayal, or triumph they've experienced becomes a thread in the fabric of who they are today. This idea can be uncomfortable because it suggests that people don't just move on. They carry their history with them. I once had a friend who always seemed guarded and quick to anger. At first, I chalked it up to their personality, but over time, as I got to know them better, the pieces started falling into place. They'd grown up in an environment where trust was constantly broken, where proving their worth was a daily struggle. Their defensiveness and caution weren't arbitrary. They were survival mechanisms forged in the fires of their past experiences. Stoicism teaches us to observe without judgment and to see things as they truly are. When you look at someone's behavior through the lens of their history, it becomes easier to understand the why behind their actions. A person who grew up neglected may seek constant validation in adulthood. Someone burned by a betrayal might approach new relationships with suspicion, even if no threat exists. Their present actions are often echoes of a past they haven't fully left behind. This isn't about excusing bad behavior, but understanding it. Consider romantic relationships. Have you ever dated someone who seemed wonderful at first, but certain patterns began to emerge? Jealousy, avoidance, or fear of commitment. If you dig deeper, you'll often discover the roots of their behavior in unresolved wounds from past relationships. The fear of being hurt again drives their actions in the present, whether they realize it or not. But there's an even tougher truth. Many people live their lives stuck in cycles, unconsciously replaying the same patterns over and over. The coworker who seeks constant approval might be carrying a childhood marked by criticism and neglect. The friend who sabotages every relationship could be battling a fear of rejection planted long ago. Their choices, habits, and reactions are mirrors reflecting the parts of their past they haven't yet confronted. Understanding this can do more than help you navigate your relationships. It can also help them. When you recognize the patterns they're repeating, you have an opportunity to gently guide them toward self-awareness. Sometimes just pointing out the cycles can spark a moment of reflection that leads to growth. And isn't that what Stoicism teaches us? To grow, to improve, and to help others do the same. However, empathy doesn't mean allowing yourself to be drawn into someone else's unresolved issues. Stoicism emphasizes setting boundaries and maintaining inner peace. By seeing someone's actions as responses to their history, you can approach them with compassion while also protecting yourself from becoming entangled in their struggles. The past is always present. It's the unseen force shaping the chapter someone is currently living. To truly understand someone, you have to see the whole story, not just the moment you're witnessing. When you start looking at others through this lens, you'll not only understand them better, but you'll also deepen your own practice of patience, empathy, and wisdom. 4. Sudden changes in tone. Signal lies or hesitation. Have you ever noticed how a person's voice can betray what their words are trying to hide? In the dance of conversation, tone is the subtle rhythm that reveals the truth. One of the clearest signs someone is lying or uncertain is a sudden, often subconscious, shift in their tone of voice. Their words might say one thing, but their tone whispers another story entirely. I once worked with someone who was effortlessly charismatic. He always had the right thing to say and delivered it with confidence and charm. But during a meeting about a looming project deadline, his usual confidence faltered. His voice, typically smooth and self-assured, suddenly dropped. His words came slower, and he hesitated where he never had before. In that moment, I knew something was off. Sure enough, it turned out he hadn't made progress on the project and was scrambling to cover it up. The shift in tone gave him away long before the truth emerged. Why does this happen? When people lie or feel uncomfortable, their mind and body enter a subtle conflict. The brain is working to craft a believable story, but the body, through the voice, reflects the tension. This can show up as a higher pitch, a stutter, an awkward pause, or even a forced cheerfulness that feels out of place. It's as if the tone of their voice refuses to go along with the lie, signaling discomfort to anyone paying attention. Think about the last time you caught someone in a fib. Did their voice suddenly become quieter or more rushed? Did they sound too rehearsed or overly enthusiastic? These tonal shifts are red flags, subconscious indicators that the person isn't fully at ease with what they're saying. But tone changes don't always mean outright deception. They can also signal hesitation, uncertainty, or internal conflict. I've had friends who would excitedly agree to plans, only for their tone to drop the moment I suggested something they didn't actually want to do. They'd go from animated to flat, their words still agreeable, but their voice revealing the truth. This phenomenon occurs in all kinds of interactions, relationships, negotiations, even casual chats. Stoicism teaches us to observe without judgment, to see things as they truly are. By tuning into tone, you cultivate this power of observation. As Marcus Aurelius wrote, "If you are distressed by anything external, the pain is not due to the thing itself, but your estimate of it." The tone of a person's voice offers a glimpse into their internal struggle, their effort to reconcile their words with their truth. It's important to remember that when someone's tone shifts, it's not always a manipulative lie. Often, people lie to themselves first, trying to mask discomfort, fear, or doubt. Their voice becomes the crack in their armor, the place where their inner conflict seeps through. When you notice this, resist the urge to judge. Instead, use this insight to better understand the person and the unspoken tension they're carrying. This practice applies to us as well. Have you ever noticed your own voice falter when you've said something you didn't truly believe? That hesitation is a reflection of misalignment between your thoughts, words, and actions. Stoicism reminds us to strive for harmony in all three, for when they're out of sync, it shows, often in ways we can't control. So, next time you're in a conversation and hear a sudden change in tone, a drop in energy, a too long pause or a pitch shift, don't dismiss it. Ask yourself, what are they holding back? What are they uncertain about? The voice often reveals what the words don't, and by listening closely, you'll uncover the truth that lies beneath. 5. The most honest moments are when they think no one's watching. If you truly want to understand someone's character, observe them in the moments when they believe no one is watching. These unguarded moments are where the masks fall, revealing the essence of who they are. People often craft a public persona, polished, considerate and charming, to fit societal expectations or gain approval. But when the spotlight dims, their true nature emerges. I once worked with a manager who seemed like the epitome of professionalism when our higher-ups were present. She was calm, courteous, and spoke with measured respect. But the moment the executives left, her demeanor shifted dramatically. She snapped at her team, barked orders, and dismissed suggestions with disdain. It was startling to see this transformation, and it taught me a powerful lesson. The person someone is, when no one important is watching, is often their most authentic self. When people feel unseen, they're free from the pressures of judgment or expectation. These moments strip away the pretense, leaving behind the raw truth. It's in the small, unnoticed interactions that someone's character truly shines or falters. Do they show respect to a waiter who might never cross their path again? Do they acknowledge the janitor in the hallway or treat the barista with gratitude? These seemingly insignificant acts reveal far more than public displays of kindness ever could. This principle applies everywhere, from relationships to business. Early in a romantic relationship, for example, both parties often put their best foot forward, eager to impress. But the quiet, unpolished moments, how they react under stress, how they treat strangers, or how they behave when they think you're not paying attention, are where their true self is revealed. Do they remain patient, kind, and respectful, or does a less flattering side emerge? I've also seen this unfold in friendships. There's always the friend who thrives in the spotlight, effortlessly entertaining and engaging when the room is full. But when the audience disappears, are they just as warm and genuine, or do they become cold and dismissive? These private moments, when no one's approval is at stake, are the clearest indicators of their values. The Stoics remind us to observe life objectively, without being swayed by surface appearances. As Epictetus teaches, virtue is revealed not in grand gestures, but in the consistency of one's actions, whether seen or unseen. A truly virtuous person doesn't act kindly because they're being watched. They act kindly because it aligns with who they are. Their goodness isn't a performance, it's a reflection of their inner principles. The truth, however, is that many people compartmentalize their public and private selves. They wear a mask in public, performing kindness or patience to maintain an image, while their private behavior tells a different story. I once worked with a colleague who, in meetings, was the embodiment of support and encouragement. But in private, he was dismissive and uninterested, offering help only if it served his interests. His public persona was a carefully curated act, and his private self told the real story. Here's the Stoic truth. True character is who you are in the shadows, not under the spotlight. How you treat people when there's nothing to gain is the ultimate reflection of your integrity. Stoicism challenges us to live authentically, with actions grounded in virtue, regardless of who is or isn't watching. So the next time you want to understand someone's true nature, look beyond their public performance. Watch how they behave when the stage is empty and the audience is gone. Their smallest, quietest actions will speak the loudest. And as you observe others, let it also serve as a reminder to cultivate your own authenticity, ensuring that your actions reflect your values, whether the room is full or completely silent. The ability to read people isn't a mystical talent. It's a skill rooted in awareness and observation. Every glance, every shift in tone, every reaction tells a story about their true values, intentions, and priorities. Through Stoicism, we gain the unique ability to observe without judgment, seeing people as they are rather than as they present themselves to be. When you tune into these subtle signals, you unlock a deeper understanding of human nature and bring clarity to every interaction. But this skill is about more than just navigating relationships. It's about growth. The more you understand others, the more you reflect on yourself, your triggers, your values, and whether your actions align with your principles. This journey of observation sharpens not only your perception of the world, but also your own character. The true power lies in using this insight not for control or manipulation, but for wisdom and self-improvement. If you found value in today's video, don't forget to like and share it with someone who could benefit from these lessons. Leave a comment below and tell us, what's one moment when reading between the lines gave you a deeper understanding of someone? And, if you haven't already, subscribe to join us as we explore more ways to live with clarity, purpose, and authenticity through Stoic wisdom. Remember, every step you take toward understanding others is also a step toward understanding yourself. Stay curious, stay thoughtful, and I'll see you in the next video where we'll dive even deeper into mastering the art of a meaningful life.